Paranormal.
Welcome to Radio Paranormal.
That's a whole lot better than me having to make up on the fly an intro because I don't know how to play stuff. So much better.
You sang well.
Oh, thank you. Well, I sang in a well. You ever had one of them weeks where like it's nothing but bad luck? Like if it was raining boobies, I would get hit between the eyes with a pecker. I mean, that's the kind of luck that has been happening here in the Appalachian Mountains. God. So how are you down that way?
Good, cold. Hence the fur
right.
tonight.
Right. I think it is. What is it here? It's 25 degrees.
Oh,
low of 11.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, let me see. I gotta look. Oh,
Okay,
we're at 40. I'm sorry, 39, but it feels like 36.
You getting close.
Last night it was 20 something. So
yeah, last night it was -5.
Ugh. We had Crew de Vue, or I'm sorry, was it Crew de Vue? Yeah, Crew de Vue last night was one of our Mardi Gras parades. This last weekend, other than Barkus, I think it's kind of the last weekend for Mardi Gras parades in the quarter, and went to a house party for it because of road construction. So brilliantly planned by the city. Anywho, they had to change the route, and then so it went right past most of the residential part of the quarter. So friends of ours had a party, and normally those parades are, I mean, that one, I bet you it's about an hour to watch it. Nope. Hey, Carol. It was about 10 minutes. People went out on the balcony and down on the street to watch it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to stand out there that long, and I'll come down and watch the end of it. And by the time I decided to go back down there, they said, well, that's the shortest parade I've ever seen. They were literally running through the whole parade route.
Poor things. Y'all ain't used to the cold.
No. Well, and then the river's right there. So
oh, yeah, that was even worse, probably.
Add humidity to cold, and that's just miserable. I guess the dry cold is not as cold. I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard that. And cold, look, I've been in the Arctic Circle. Oh, I see you, Father. Our guest has come back, and it looks like he's back on his computer.
Yay.
So, okay. So, let's see. We talked about the cold. We talked about getting hit between the eyes with a pecker because my luck's that bad. What else do we have to talk about? Or should we just get into like our guest? I can't wait to learn from our next guest.
We just need to remind everyone, don't eat the baby.
Why not? Like, listen, if I get a Mardi Gras cake and I get the baby, you're supposed to eat the baby, and that makes you the king of the Zulus.
You didn't get your Mardi Gras cake yet? I sent one to you.
Well, I mean, we have been sort of shut down for like a week, so
it would have gone out Wednesday.
Well, then we should be getting it pretty soon.
Then you'll know then you'll understand why.
Yeah, so apparently when I was 5 and 6, and I was looking at New Orleans and whatever, this is what I thought. I thought you eat the king cake, and then whoever gets the baby eats the baby, and then you become a black person with the Zulus. And this is what I thought as a child.
Oh my God.
So I wanted, so I guess you don't eat the baby and you don't get to hang out with the Zulu people.
I'm just going to apologize to Zulu. Also, because I've never seen their parade, and it's only because my ass ain't getting up that early. I mean, that's just how it is.
Well, I don't blame you.
They roll at 8 a.m., man, on Mardi Gras Day. Nope. Sorry.
No, but they're kind of smart. They get it out of the way, and then they get to go party.
Yeah. I mean, you can't blame them. But no, so the tradition is if you get the piece with the baby, you have to bring the next king cake. So
It has. So my whole childhood has been ruined ever since I started this Radio Paranormal.
I'm
So
blasting your dreams.
my dreams have
They're crushed.
they're crushed. Tread softly, for you tread on my dreams.
Oh, did you get your clip that voice?
I have it, but I'm just gonna do it. I
You're
haven't
gonna have to
recorded it
remember to
yet.
do
But
it.
speaking of clip that, I think we're gonna have plenty of. Hey, let's just see what happens. Clip that. It's gonna be a new voice, y'all. So whenever we have some cool stuff, you're gonna hear one of them say, "Clip that."
Oh, and in the comments, if you guys think something that was just said or done is cool, type
Yep.
clip that.
Type clip that. Yep. That's gonna be our new thing. Hashtag. Wait a minute. What am I saying?
Clip that.
Clip that.
Sounds like the Sunday guy. I don't know.
Sunday. That's what I used to do on my show, Shaman Sundays. When it was on.
Did you?
So, what are we talking about? Let's see. I don't even know what we're talking about, but I know who we're talking to.
We're going to be talking to.
There's some technical difficulties going on in the background, so we're letting him settle all that. But while he's doing that, let's talk about who it is.
So, he's a sweetheart. Father Bob Bailey. Well, Father Robert Bailey, commonly known as Father Bob or the Paranormal Padre. I had the privilege of meeting him in San Francisco at a Paracon that he was at on a World War II battleship. So we got to investigate with him. But he's done some things. He is a native of Cranston, Rhode Island, and a retired Roman Catholic priest from Rhode Island. He has a degree in education and human development from Rhode Island College and attended Our Lady of Providence Seminary in Warwick, Rhode Island. And then their major seminary in Emmitsburg, Maryland, where he earned his master's degree in theology. And he was then ordained to the priesthood in 1993. He said he's had an interest in being in the paranormal since childhood, and he began to feel a calling to assist those working in the area of paranormal research with his priesthood. He felt the church and the Catholic faith could bring some of the old age wisdom and spiritual authority back to the table in the area of the demonic. And during our investigation on that battleship, during nautical nightmares, I got hit with the something. So Father Bob did a little work on me during that period. I don't know what it was, but it was a something, and I could not see. I could not focus. It was crazy pants.
Well,
and
I can't wait to ask. That's got to be a professional term for what hit you.
A little something.
A little something. I guess there may be a lesser demon named something.
So now he used to develop a friendship with Ryan Buell, who was on Paranormal State. I used to watch that too. So he's had some experience with them. He's also worked, I believe, with the Warrens, but we'll ask him about that too. So I don't know if he's ready to come on, but Father Bob, are you there?
I believe we're ready. So without further ado, we will bring on the Paranormal Padre, Father Bob Bailey. Click.
There he is.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Freezing, but well.
I mean, that's all of us. It's all of us, I think.
It's been crazy. So staying warm though, Father Bob, right?
Absolutely.
Sorry, I got sidetracked. I got quiet.
Oh. So what do you have coming up? So people can come to the New Orleans Paracon July 31st through August 2nd, and they're going to hear you talk, which is going to be amazing. I think you're going to talk about what angelology is, and that was something I think we're going to have you thought about focusing on. And what else? What else are you going to teach people?
Well, I think that what I like to really accentuate is what I call positive paranormal phenomenon. We've heard enough about the scary stuff, and we know that well. But when I started doing the tour with Annabelle, I brought my relics and started speaking about miracles and some of the relics that I have that were
Sounds like
try it out. And they were, and they were very interested. It was amazing, beyond my expectations. So I said, there's a need for this, and people felt very protected. They felt a warmth when they came over to the table with the relics, and so it's something that you don't hear spoken of much, and so it's something I'd like to really put out there and teach.
Right.
I have a question. So I asked this question to Johnny Zaffis, and he gave me a pretty good answer. But so I'm going to ask you the same question. So we know that through infestation and all the other ways, a demonic presence can and sometimes will possess a human. Now, I want to ask the same question, but about angels. Can they possess a human? Do you think, like, for whatever reason God would have them do it, but do you think they have the ability to take over a human even momentarily? Uh-oh. I think I believe we have some technical issues.
We have a frozen Father Bob.
Frozen Father Bob. He did say he was cold.
Frozen Father Bob. I don't think I could say that. Hey, Bill. It was something.
Oh, no, we lost him, but I'm glad Bill's here, because you know what I didn't do in the last show is tell people how to book Bill, because we closed off the show so quick. So while Asia is in the comments and we have Bill, let's just say, stop it, Joanne. I know there's crickets, okay? Don't make me come up there to Canada. I'll do it, and I'll freeze on my way. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah. So if you guys would like to book Bill Slevin, please go through Asia. And I don't know much else. I'll let Jen take that over. We're going to pull Father Bob back up.
Yeah, BillSlevin.com, I believe, is how you do it. So, and that'll get through all of them. So, Father Bob.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I have a fairly good Wi-Fi, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, did you hear the question? Were you able to hear the question?
No, not at all.
Okay, well, I'll shorten it. So we know that demons in the proper way can possess a human. Do you think angels have the ability to do the same?
They would not do that, I don't believe, because that's just not in their nature to possess somebody, to take over, because we have our free will. We have our uniqueness as human beings created in the image of God. Angels can inspire people. Angels can help people and give them wisdom, but I don't believe that they would possess people.
Okay. Just a question that's always floated around in my head, and I, just curious.
Did John say the same?
He kind of went with a maybe they can, maybe they can't.
Oh, that's safe.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't know. I don't talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've just never heard of a case of a possession by like an angelic being.
Mm-hmm. So we've worked with, and I hope you get to come out to the Andrew Jackson Hotel, Father Bob, since we're going to talk about a more positive part of this whole thing, because even TV shows and investigations, what does it sell? All the negativity.
Yep.
And they don't understand. Sometimes you just want to have fun with them. And when you're having fun, what does that attract? Fun, good, positive, right? And you focus on the negative, that's what you get. But the Andrew Jackson, I'd love to get your opinion of what an energy named Master is, because we've brought this to the church as well. Our theory is he's some kind of conduit to a lower level-ish, I don't know what to call it, angelic that appears for people who've lost children.
Yep.
And it's not every person. So not every person who's lost a child has this phenomenon
Mhm.
appear. It's only certain people. So now we're trying to figure out what's the difference. And it's men and women. Have you ever heard of
Interesting.
stuff like that happening?
Well, I believe that angels are messengers
Hmm.
and bearers of good news, bearers of protection. That we have guardian angels, communities have guardian angels, groups have guardian angels. Each nation has their own guardian angels. So there could be a guardian angel over lost people that probably works with Saint Anthony, you know.
Hmm.
Right.
And I think that's something that it's not taught a lot, is that sometimes we're taught, oh, it's Saint Michael, it's Saint Anthony, but there are
Right.
other
Oh
energies
yeah,
that work under them. But we
of
only
course.
talk about the main angel, I guess, right?
Right, right. Yeah, and maybe because we don't know, they're not named, they're not. We don't know much about them, only that they're there, you
Hmm.
know. And usually in the angels' humility, they would want to be just like that anyhow.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Joanne, I fear it. Joanne said she lost a child and she didn't get that on our stuff. Chris and I lost a child, and it appears for him, but not for me.
Hmm.
So that was our litmus, right?
Well,
We both.
when I come down there, I'd like to see, because I lost a child. So I'm kind of curious to see if the phenomenon happens as well. So
Right. And so then that's what got us wondering, what's the difference? We asked the energy that calls itself master, we think is an ascended master. Why? And I think we don't get an answer, maybe because we can't understand, or the answer's too long, the reason, or it's
Hmm.
too individual, right? So I don't know.
No, I've never heard of that one before.
but now, speaking about the lost children, that brings a good question that I've always wanted to ask. Um, do you believe in child spirits,
Child spirits.
like
Yeah,
a
I think that
child ghost?
um, on a couple of levels, yeah, I've heard of that. Either for some odd reason, which is not a norm, but an anomaly,
Mhm.
that you see a children's spirit wandering, looking for some parents or something like that. I'm not sure what to make of that. And then you have children's spirits who are already with God and who are just maybe here to do good work, like angels do.
Hmm.
Okay, that's a different take on it. Okay.
Because we hear so much about the theory of age of reason,
Right.
and that is somewhere around what, 7 to 9 ish.
7, yeah, around 7.
And so
So I mean,
what's the theory is that if a child that passes before that is what they're taken straight.
Right. They
straight
would
up.
be, they're not responsibility for any sin.
Okay.
And see, that's where I start questioning. So, if you get a 5-year-old spirit, I sometimes wonder, could this be something pretending to be a child? Because young children, in my mind, are already with the
Yes.
Lord.
That's always a possibility. And that's why people have to be careful when they're dealing with the other world. There's a fascination with the other side, but there's so many facets to it and so many caveats and so many dangers that could be there. Um,
Right.
for instance, the famous thing is uh, the Annabelle doll. Now, the Annabelle doll, a psychic said it was the spirit of this girl named Annabelle. It was not true. The thing was not a human spirit. It was a demonic spirit.
Right.
Mhm.
So, okay, you know, masking itself as something benign in the beginning.
Got you. So
Okay.
those with the abilities too, advice from you for them when they get information like that? Are we not interpreting correctly? Are we listening to the wrong? Are we not educated? Are we, where
You
did
mean on that thing? On that?
well,
I, I
yeah,
think I think it's a good example to see that psychics are not omniscient. They're
right.
not the end all. They receive messages, but they are human beings, and they can be tricked also.
Mm-hmm.
And so you gotta be careful in the realm of deity. And I think sometimes pride gets in there, where not everybody, like I know, I can tell everything, and it's like, no, because you're not. You have no. You're nowhere near the intelligence, the omniscience, and the strength and the power of a fallen angel. And I think that's what we have to be, and that's why there's and that's why we have caveats in our Christian religion about conjuring, about going after things and pulling down people that other people want to see and hear from. There's danger there, real danger.
Mm-hmm.
And human beings are no match to angelic beings.
Right. 100%. I had a guy on our ghost hunt the other night who said, I bought a doll off of eBay that said the person selling it said it was possessed by a demonic energy.
Uh,
And so my first question was, why do you want that?
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and you see that so
It's
I
a
think
fascination that's unhealthy,
oh
Correct.
yeah,
I like
to say
maybe
that.
the
I like
least.
that.
people need to hear, and I know you can speak from experience. What are the dangers of thinking that you want those things and bringing them into
Well,
your home?
well, because then the home can get infested very easily. You can be oppressed by it. Now, we have to make a note here that inanimate objects cannot be possessed. Annabelle is not possessed by a demon. There is a demon that's attached itself. There's a subtle difference.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
They can
Fair.
only possess people, but not objects. So that's why they can sometimes leave the objects and go somewhere else. So yeah, I think that's we have to know that subtle difference. But why you would people are playing with fire. They think it's all fun and games. It's like the meme I love, and it has Anthony Hopkins holding a crucifix when he was playing the exorcism priest. It
Yep.
says everybody laughs at Catholics until they need an exorcism.
I
You
mean, it's
know,
true. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, the fascination with the negativity of the paranormal. It's disturbing. Let me tell you, when we did the Annabelle tour, I was shocked to the point that I was speechless, and I still do a mea culpa because I couldn't even respond. There was a mother who had a little child. The little child brought a bouquet of flowers to give an offering to Annabelle.
Oh.
And I
Oh
thought, well,
no.
first of all, that mother should be whacked, first of all, because
Yeah.
she is whacked. And second of all, it's like, and I should have, and I did, I was so much in shock. I was so taken aback when I say, you realize that this is a demonic spirit that's attached, don't you? But they have no clue. They have no clue. Good versus evil, because they haven't been brought up. People have been walking
Right.
away from true faith and true religion, and so they don't know the difference, and they think they can play with this stuff, and they think they can summon and everything, and nothing will happen. Maybe
Well,
nothing will happen, but maybe something will. And do you want to take that chance?
yeah.
And then the next question is, and then what are you going to do?
Right.
Right. You're gonna call the Catholic Church.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
or
kid,
the,
when
you
I
know,
asked him,
or whatever church, you
yeah,
know. But and I'll tell you,
Yeah.
let me say this, and people don't realize it. The devil is sexy. Sin is
Oh, of
sexy.
course.
Like, I mean, he was described as the most beautiful angel of them all.
hmm
Yeah, the
And
morning star. Yep.
right. So, like, of course, people are going to flock to that. I
Yep.
say it like, so if Jesus came back, he would probably be in flip flops and chilling. But if the devil came back, which he is back, and he's walking the earth, he's in a 3-piece suit, looking fine, driving that nice car that,
Yep.
that everybody wants.
Yep.
So, I mean, I get why people they're drawn to it. But I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about, so demons don't just jump in you and possess you from the beginning. There's
No.
several stages, if I'm correct, right?
Well, there are stages, but there's also, and even if there's no rhyme or reason how it can happen, but somehow at some point you have to let it in by something, by some means that you've let it in. And so, like for a believer, if they're solid in their faith and they're growing in virtue and they're growing in daily prayer and scripture, they don't have to worry about that, But if you invite it in, through occult practices, through, whatever, through evil, through uh, things like that, from welcoming evil into your life, it can happen. It can happen. Um, and
You
if
know,
people don't, if people, most people now, I dare say, don't know how to protect themselves, and you walk into a place that's inhabited by evil, you have to have your guard up, or else you're going to be
hmm
attacked. So,
True.
but you're right. Some of the stages, first there's an obsession, then there's an oppression, and
yeah.
then if that keeps growing, then it can go into a possession. But it doesn't have to go that way. It can go just by opening up to something.
hmm
There were some people that have been on TV who've been famously known saying, "Come into me, come into me." I said, "You are nothing but a horse's you know what. This is what
Right.
you're teaching people." You know, you wonder why your life is screwed up. It's this isn't a game. You know.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I'm glad that the New Orleans Paracon is going to be more focused on learning and teaching, and
Yep.
because that's missing. And a lot of the people that are brand new to investigating, I mean, they look at people like Zach Bagans, 27 years on TV, he's doing something right, but
Uh,
I know there's something in the entertainment world he's doing great.
all right. That
Yeah,
I'll agree with.
yeah. I mean, it's entertaining, but people see how he and others, it's not just him, interact. And he's got a museum. There's haunted object museums, and you know, and I think it's placed there by the evil to entice.
Yeah, I mean, like I understand why the Warrens did it, but they had such a, they were pioneers in this whole thing.
Right.
They knew what the heck they were doing. They were grounded in their faith.
Yep.
These other people that are collecting stuff, they don't know the heel from their heel,
A
whatever,
hole in the
about
ground.
that, about
Yeah.
that, and it's like, why are you keeping it? Are you trying to be like them? But do you have the faith to be able to shield from this? Is not a, I talk to any true exorcist. I'm talking about a real exorcist. And they will tell you every time they encounter evil, they lose a piece of themselves. They're affected, their lives, they're mocked for life by the other side,
Yeah.
and this is what they've It's these
Mm,
showmen, you know.
And I think it would do a better service to people. And I think Zach would still get ratings if he would actually show what he has to go through in the
Mhm.
background to get rid of all the stuff that happens
well,
to him when he does what he does.
there's a show. There's a show that takes 28 days to film one episode. I believe Bill
Hmm.
Slevin was the one that brought that up.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of the new people, they don't know that 90% of paranormal investigating is boredom, and it's 10%
Oh yeah,
holy crap.
right.
So, but I mean,
Yeah.
what a piece of advice would you give to somebody just coming into the paranormal field?
Well, first of all, if you're going into the paranormal field, you're going into above the normal. You're going into dealing with a spiritual realm. You need to be grounded. I don't understand how a person who has no faith could enter into this, because you know what, you're going to get clobbered, or they're not going to the spirit world is not going to take you seriously. um One of the two things are going to happen. So when people were going into this field originally, it was to help people. It was to give peace. If there were human souls there, perhaps they need to be crossed down because for some odd reason they didn't get to, or there are purgatorial spirits who need assistance, spiritual assistance, in crossing over to the light, or or they're benign spirits that are already with God, and they're just with their loved ones, or just happen to be wherever for a set purpose that God allows. So there's different. You have to understand all of that. You can't just read a book, watch a TV program, and say, I'm going to be an investigator. Because most of these investigations are for shits and giggles. They
Right.
go from one play, one experience, one high to another. But are you helping people? And I've overheard people say, "Oh, did you go to this con? Did you go to this con? Did you?" I'm not against paracons, obviously, but if that's
Right.
all you do, if that's all you do, this is a new crop of people that just don't get what this whole thing was established to do, and that was to help people, to bring resolve, some kind of resolve to them, either showing them, hey, this isn't paranormal. Hi, this may be psychological, or hey, yeah, there is something spiritual. Let's get you help.
Hmm.
But just
And
to
you know
go and say, "Oh, the place is haunted," uh,
I've been called out to two possible possessions in my 30 years of doing that. And both of those ended up being a huge mental health crisis on top of a substance abuse issue or something. You
mhm,
know, people go around saying everything's demonic. No, it's not. Like, I've been
no,
doing this a long time. I ran into one thing that was evil that has touched my life that I saw in Iraq, and I'll never be the same. But as far
mhm,
as, going to possession or
yeah,
whatever, I mean, a lot of times it's mental health, and I don't tread lightly on talking about mental health because it has become kind of mainstream to identify yourself by your mental health issue,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's very dangerous.
It is, and that's why people understand that the Catholic Church, unlike some of these other denominations that see the devil behind every corner and think everything is demonic, is before we can do a formal exorcism and deem that the person is truly demon possessed, we have to have a medical exam over the victim and a psychological makeup to see, because you start dealing spiritually, like what saying is demons, when it's really, either psychological or medical, you're not going to
Right.
help that person. You're
Mm-mm.
not doing a service to them. So, and then sometimes
Come on, Father Bob. Come back. Come
so
back.
you need to do a two-pronged. He said. Oh, you
Oh, we lost
is
you
there a
for a
problem?
second. Well, we lost you for a second, but then
Oh,
we got you back.
yeah.
We got you back.
Okay. Sometimes it's a two-pronged thing, psychological and spiritual, and you need to deal with both of those to make the person whole again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all a part of discernment. And I like what you said about like 28 days and all of that. I mean, because what the paranormal shows did, they have what, an hour
Right.
to talk
Right.
about all of this, so they have to capsulize all for a show, but that's not reality.
Right.
Right.
People need to know that's a basis. When I was on Paranormal State, they were there for a couple of weeks sometimes,
That
and they
was
had
like
to
one
fit
of my
it into the
favorite shows
50s.
ever.
And
Mine
I
too,
got
before I was even on it.
Yeah, that was
I got
mine.
to meet Ryan a couple of years ago down at a boutique event that he was putting on here in South Carolina, and it's the first time I'd ever gotten to talk to him. And we share some of the same battles, me and Ryan, in our past. So we got to talk about that. I'll tell you what, I really, really like Ryan Buell.
Well, yeah, he's a dear friend.
Yeah.
He's a dear friend. And who of us hasn't made mistakes? But he's fessed up to that, and that's why I stuck with him right through it all, because not only did he pull himself out, he got help, and now he wants to help people.
Yep.
Also,
Yep.
to give back. That doesn't always happen. In fact, it doesn't happen most of the time.
Yeah.
Pulling out of that type of addiction.
Right.
And so yeah, no, I agree. In fact, I'll be doing an event with him in Gettysburg in March.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
yeah.
But well, let's talk. How about we take a quick commercial break, quote unquote, and let's hawk this Paracon thing. I'll put up the pictures, and let's talk about how accessible this Paracon is going to be once I figure out what I'm doing on the producer side. So
I've got a video too we can share.
Hey, let's do the video.
Let's do the video real quick. Entire screen with sound. I will figure it out. Share.
Yeah, this is sort of, you gotta be smart.
Technology's good until it goes wrong.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Are we ready? Go.
We're ready. Here we go.
Can you hear that sound? Every old floorboard talking from the ground. New Orleans, Paracon. We're calling you in from the river to the rooftop. Let the story begin. Oh yeah.
That
was exciting. I hadn't heard that song yet.
We even have a theme song now. I'm so proud of that. So those prices for everyone that saw those are per couple, not per person. $300 is for the couple. It's $150 a person if you want to split it. That's the RIP package. That includes your hotel room for 2 nights, 3 days, 2 nights, access to the general admission classes and the vendor area. VIP includes an upgraded room, a couple of classes per person per day, and some ghost hunts. And then the Platinum Unlimited, if you want everything but the weekend with Patty Negri and Sam Beltrusis, which is an add-on to everything, that's where you want to go. You can kind of do everything. So the RIP is more like, I'm going to customize for what interests me, and the Platinum is, I want to do all of it. And the VIP is somewhere in between. So we tried really hard to make it affordable. There's Afterpay available. So if you go online and you qualify for Afterpay, you can split your payments up too, which is, us just trying to help. Sometimes I know a lot of Paracons, they say all proceeds go to X charity. We didn't want to do that. They're going to be charities there that if you want to donate to, you have the opportunity to do it, where you don't have to be forced that your money goes to X, Y, or Z. So instead, what we did was made it more affordable. So you'd have a little bit more disposable income to buy from the vendors, to take a class, to donate to a charity if you want. So it gives you a lot more flexibility and to to put your money where you want it to go, for sure.
I mean, it's a unique setup at this con. So I'm looking forward to it. And plus, so what? I've been in this business 30 something years. And I know I have enough knowledge and wisdom to know that I know nothing. So I look forward to these where I can sit in and learn from people because my expertise is not demons. Oh,
Right.
Father Bob
It's
Bailey,
always a learning process. You know,
right?
to say anybody has it all, stay away from somebody like that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Hey,
So, all
Greg.
right, Father Bob. Hey, Greg. You were dear friends with Lorraine Warren. Is that correct?
Yes, I met her. Well, I met Ed and Lorraine many years ago when I was in major seminary in Emmitsburg. I went with my friend my classmate to a talk they gave at a college. I don't even remember where it is. And that's where I met them for the first time. But then I reconnected with her when I became part of Paranormal State, and I got to actually work with her on some of those cases.
Wow.
And it was, I mean, and we just took to each other just right away. Well, first of all, she loves priests, but I mean, but we
Right.
just did. There was just something that I used to call her the paranormal Mary Poppins. I said I could
like
just picture you because she has the bun behind her hair. She
Yeah,
would come
yeah.
down
Right.
with her umbrella and her big bag, and out will come a Bible, a cross, and holy water and everything, relics. And she
That,
loved it. I made her laugh, and she loved it.
Well, I told Asia after I met you, I wanted you to adopt me as like a granddaughter. So
Uh-huh.
I feel like you have the same energy. You're describing the same energy that you have too.
Yeah, well, if it's anything like Lorraine's, that's a compliment, a real compliment. So, but yeah, it was great. It was great. I got to meet a number of people through Paranormal State. Um,
Yeah, she was on it a few times, wasn't she?
yep,
oh, she was on it a number of times, a number of
like a lot.
seasons. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. I thought when they had
yeah.
encountered a few things, Ryan would bring her on.
Oh,
But there
yeah,
were a lot of people that got their start in that show too.
yeah. I mean, Chip Coffey was on with me. Michelle Belanger
Yep.
was on. You know, so it was just great. It was just great working with them.
Yeah. Because I think they were one of I liked them because he was very analytical, methodical about how you guys approach those cases. It wasn't just, sorry guys, dude, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't about that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Brandon's like, I know where you're
But
going.
not only that,
I
but
know.
he was client oriented
Yeah.
and resolve oriented. He just didn't leave you, okay, yeah, your house is haunted, or your house has a possible infestation of the demonic. And okay, see ya. No, they showed the resolve,
Yeah.
Right.
whether it's through me in there or whoever, they showed that. And they had an element of faith. He was the first one. I started watching another, show, and then they said, "Well, if you like that one," my parishioners were telling me, my young parishioners, "You'll love Paranormal State." I said, "Okay, let me check it out." And I saw Ryan had a faith component, and that
Yep.
really right away attracted me. So I think it had its popularity. It was because it was they were normal.
Yep.
It was just a different caliber.
Yeah. It was natural. It was just natural.
It was,
Very,
and it was fun. If you went on one of their outings, or what, I forget what they called it now, my mind. Um, but field trips.
Yep.
We would go to different places, and the caliber of people who really wanted to learn. And I remember like giving a course on spiritual warfare and all of that, and I would get a tremendous amount of people at it from that field trip. People wanted to learn, and they asked questions. They engaged. It was a very different experience for me. I had never gone to Paracons, but I went to the field trips, and
I got you.
uh,
Okay. Let's see. We're coming down to the last 15 minutes, and I don't want to make the same mistake twice. So, Father Bob, if people want to get a hold of you or to book you or to do anything to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
I have a website. It's called holyswordapostolate.com. We also have a Facebook page called The Holy Sword
Okay.
Apostolate.
And
Yeah.
and what do you have coming up that if people can't make it to the Paracon, where can they see you?
Basically, right now it's March is my next one. Then there's August. I'll be there, and I think in September I'll be in Cleveland. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So it's it's what is it? March.
Gettysburg is March 27th to 29th.
Okay.
Okay.
Or us. Pick one.
Oh yeah,
Whatever's
yeah.
closer.
So basically, if you want to see Father Bob and you don't, that's your fault. Look, he's out there. We can get a hold.
Oh, some people say I'm out there, all right.
Well, I've been said. People have told me that for years. And I
Yeah,
just tell
see.
them, the VA has paperwork on me to say I'm crazy.
Uh-huh.
So, doesn't bother me. But
So I have one question. I know we're going to do a little something special with you, Father Bob, but tell me, we carry on our investigations what we call a medicine bag.
Uh-huh.
What is your advice to people going out on investigations, pre and post? What's in that bag for protection and clearing? What's in it?
Okay.
What do you think should be in there?
It depends on your faith tradition, of course.
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you have a Christian faith tradition, my war chest draws heavily from my Catholic Christian traditions because we have a treasure trove of things. So I bring, of course, the St. Benedict cross. I bring, if I'm going to a residential home, I'll bring 4 blessed St. Benedict medals, and after the ritual, I'll ask them to bury it in the 4 corners of the property to seal the property. I would bring holy water, anointing oil of Saint Joseph for protection for us. When we're going out. I have religious relics of the saints that I would bring. A blessed candle, and the other thing that I just been realizing that wasn't in my war chest before is a little handbell that I bless because
Yep.
the demons don't like the sound of the church bell
Mm-hmm.
or the bells, and that's why one of the traditions of church bells was, to ward away evil.
Right.
So those are some of the things.
Let me ask you this question: where did all the bells go? Like, you don't see that anymore. When I was a kid, I would, in the 80s and stuff, I'd walk around, I'd hear church bells, and they were at the actual bells.
I mean, they still are around. Yeah, but I think even the recordings, if they sound like a bell and they're blessed,
Okay.
I think they would have an effect. But the Carillions, you mean? Yeah, that's the more affordable way of doing it now, because it was some when their bell towers were crumbling because of the bell ringing, over the years.
The vibration.
Understood.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Well, that's a better answer than I had. I went down some conspiracy theory and I said the government took all the bells. I don't know, but that was much more. That was much simpler.
Oh, let me tell you, though. Let me tell you, there are some places where the Catholic churches have bells. People in the neighborhood have sued and brought things trying to stop the churches from ringing the bells because it disturbs them.
Oh,
What kind?
Goodness.
Because it's 12 noon and for the Angelus. And it was wonderful hearing the church bells. There's something soothing about it,
Yeah.
but
Right.
then other people say, "Oh, it's bothering me," and all that. And in some communities, they've got them to block that, to so that they couldn't use the bells. And so, you're not far away when it comes to conspiracy in some areas.
Yeah.
Why somebody would not want to hear a bell? The bells are just universally a beautiful thing, you
Right.
know.
It is.
And it's
Yeah.
not like the church is ringing them at 1 a.m.
No,
Like,
and not
you would
all
bother me
day.
at, yeah, you would bother me at 1 a.m. You're not going to bother
Yeah.
me at lunch,
And
you
even
know.
now, they don't ring them at 6. They'll ring them at 7 or 8. You know, but I still like the traditional way, 6, 12, and 6. But anyways, it's a different age we're living in, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went from just, I could be having the worst day when I was a kid. Of course, how bad was my day? But then I heard the bells and I would immediately like be relaxed.
Oh yeah,
So,
and that was a
you know,
beautiful thing when I was in Rome in my sabbatical. I was up on the hill over above St. Peter's, and you could hear the church bells ringing at different hours, and it was so nice, so nice. Same thing when we were in Assisi. You'd walk through those cobblestone streets, and you would hear the bells ringing, or that church at one point, this one, and it's just something mystical about it. You know.
I mean, you're not wrong. It just, in a bell period, like, even if you go into a store and they actually have a bell on the door, that doesn't bother me as bad as like the doorbell. Like
Yeah.
bells inherently are relaxing, but who am I? Who am I? I'm a nobody.
Yeah, maybe the telephone bell years ago wasn't that
Yeah.
No,
that
yeah.
mystical, but
So Father Bob, next time you talk to Chris, ask him what he thinks, how he feels when our doorbell rings here, and be prepared to hang on for a bit.
No, no.
okay, I will remember. I'll keep it in my memory banks.
So I do have one question, and then we'll end it with some fun. So I'm Protestant, born and raised. I don't know much about Catholicism,
Hmm.
but I do have a question about the Pope's hat.
Yep,
Why does it resemble a fish?
a fish.
It looks to me as if it is an ancient throwback to one of the Roman fish god. And
No, no, it was actually, if you go on YouTube, now before the 1960s, they used to have a tiara, which was a papal crown. They no longer use the crown. They use the mitre. It's called a mitre. And that comes from the old Roman. Yeah, a lot of these dress comes from the Roman times and the Roman
okay,
dress, you
okay.
know. Just like the
I was
crozier that the bishop wear is a staff, is a shepherd's staff originally. That's where that came from.
okay. Like I have all these questions because it's a whole lot more pomp and circumstance than the Protestant church, and there's
Yeah.
so much that I don't
Unless
I
you're
don't know about.
Anglican.
Well, or you're yeah, but I'm not. I was born Southern Baptist. I can't.
Oh, okay.
I'm about as far from Catholic as you can get.
Yeah.
But no, and I've heard all these questions about, there's pineal glands supposedly all over Vatican City, which is the pine cone, and me not knowing the religious significance of things like that. Of course, I'm going to go down a rabbit hole, but
Hmm.
there's got to be an explanation of the pine cone and why the fountain was moved when it was moved and all that. Do you know about that, or should I just
Not
rabbit
about
hole?
not about any specific um fountains, but I mean pinecone was just a lot of times when it was just for a flower, it was just something that they artist conception,
Okay,
like if
okay,
you go to Portugal, you see in some cathedrals and the Portuguese explorers, when they came back, they would have all these exotic uh, fruits and stuff, and they would end up in the architecture just
Okay.
because it's new. So yeah, it's much to do with an artist's conception.
Well, that makes more sense than what I hear on the internet with all the
Yeah.
and then like they're saying that there's no more room for another picture of another pope, and they're
No,
saying that
that's
this
not
is the
true.
last pope. Thank you. Okay, what is true about that? I'm curious about that.
No, for Pope Leo, they just put his up there. They were saying that back in John Paul II's day, and since that we've had, Pope
Right.
Benedict and Pope Francis, now Pope Leo, and I saw his picture, and I saw the one right next to it. It was empty, so there's room. And you know what? It had nothing to do with a magical number. It was just what was up there at the time, and I'm sure if those run out, they'll be creative to create another one. There was nothing magical about the number. It's just the artist's conception of how many pillars and how many of those things he had up. You know.
Fair. I mean, and that makes logical sense. Because when it was built, they were probably guessing, I'm going to say 50 popes. Let's just put 50 up there.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, okay, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and there's 200
then,
and something.
Yeah. I was just curious, sometimes people like to go after the Catholic Church.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
of
course.
On one hand, the Catholic Church is not without their controversy.
Of course.
But
Of course.
people look at the 10%. There's 10% of everybody that you just can't deal with. I don't care if it's religion, if it's at work, if it's whatever, there's that 10%. But if you look past the 10% and find, because there's a lot of Catholic priests and
the overwhelming. Overwhelming majority.
So
we have to remember that the church is a divine institution that's run by fallible humans. So the fallible humanity, yes, can, is imperfect, but the institution itself, created by Christ, is divine.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the safeguard that even through the most corrupt times, it's still standing,
I can't argue with that. I mean, it's
because he
still
said
here.
the gates of hell shall never prevail against it.
It's true. You have changed some of the ways that I have viewed Vatican City and the Catholicism, because there's just so much to look at, and I can interpret what I'm seeing however the hell I want to interpret it, because it's free will. But to actually know somebody that's been there and talk to you about what you think it is, it brings a whole different perspective. And I think that's what people are missing.
Oh, dialogue helps. Dialogue is key.
I agree. So, Jen, you want to ask one of your funny questions so we can take it out on a funny light note?
I'm afraid.
You should be, Father Bob. You should be.
Father Bob. I would take it easy on you, though. No, we will. All right. So, Father Bob, which one should I ask? If you were going to be featured in an animated film, what animal would you be animated into and why?
Oh,
that's a good one.
I think it would be an eagle.
An eagle. Okay.
The way it soars and flies and, can transcend the earth. Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to fly?
And you don't have you don't have to pay big fares for that either.
Right.
There you go. It's economical.
Like okay, so I'm gonna sort of mesh together two different would you rathers to make it a Padre friendly one. So would you rather every time you got up to do a sermon, you farted the entire time, Or the only way that you can get sustenance is you have to lick somebody's eyebrows off their head every 24 hours.
Oh my!
Right?
I didn't hear the first one because it went off a little bit.
Okay, so the first one is whenever you're up doing your sermons, you fart
Yeah.
the entire time.
Okay.
Or you have to get your sustenance by licking people's eyebrows off their head every 24 hours.
Oh, I'd rather fart.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jet power.
Okay. Yes. That
power.
powers.
I ain't licking anybody's eyebrows.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know where we came up with the licking of the eyebrows, but Jen came out with that one last episode, and it caught me sideways. So,
oh, that's scary.
I'm just saying, Father Bob, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and put up with my foolish questions or my ignorant questions. But I mean, I think you've taught fart for $200. Thank you, Jay. That's right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Greg Koss is saying, Brandon, what is Brandon doing? I do what I want. But thank you for your knowledge, for your insight, and thank you for being the type of person who actually cares about humanity.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's few. That's actually truly few and far between. And I've done over 400 interviews, and just the energy from you is just pure and relaxing, and it has made this interview like really fun. I was not afraid to ask ignorant questions because you're not very judgmental, and there's not a lot of people of the cloth that are not very judgmental, at least that I know.
Try not to be, because I don't want to be judged.
Fair. So one last thing, let's recount. Father Bob, you can see him with Ryan Buell in March in Gettysburg. What were the dates again for that?
27th to 29th.
And why don't you do both? And then you come see him at the New Orleans Paracon, the first ever in the French Quarter, and come hang out with us. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, it'll be very warm. I'm bringing my white clerical shirt, not my black one.
There
We
you
promise
go.
to keep you in as much air conditioning as possible.
I'll hold you to that. Just have ice water around me all the time.
We will, no
Got it.
problem.
Well, it's New Orleans. You should probably have sweet tea, iced sweet tea.
Oh, sweet tea or hurricanes.
Yeah, I was going to say there's frozen hurricanes. Just saying.
We'll get you some hurricane.
Actually,
right.
right below the hotel, there is.
O'Brien's.
Carol reminds us to remember to smile.
She's so sweet.
We usually end the show in like a weird way, Father Bob, so I don't want you to get freaked out. But I think the last main question, and I think it's on everybody's mind, and I don't know that I'll be able to go to sleep without knowing the answer to this. So